Yeah, Congress can make it happen today. They are voting today on one big budget reconciliation bill that could totally change everything, including the Environmental Protection Agency. So let's get into it. Yep, it's true. America's nightmare with emissions and California policy could be over today. And to be honest, it should have been over a long time ago. But Congress is voting right now. Well, in the next 15 minutes or so, you guys will probably see this later in the afternoon. But they are voting right now on a bill which would have tax cuts in it, budget proposals, continuing resolutions as far as the debt limit for the country. And in that bill are repealing the Clean Air Act and several provisions. There are amendments, there are discussions going on the floor, and we should know before the end of the day today, maybe at latest early tomorrow, depending on how long they debate this before it goes to the floor to vote today on when this happens. And I saw this over on Newsmax, and I'm going to put this up here because I thought this was insightful and relevant to you guys. So I'm going to drop this. Congress can repeal California's EV mandate. It's time to vote. Most of the press missed it. They did. And to be honest, I've only seen like one or two other YouTube channels actually discuss this, like Car Coach Reports. You should go check out her channel. And I've seen a few other channels talk about specifically repealing the Clean Air Act. I mean, we've seen diesel shops that are excited about what's going on and what could change, like Double R Diesel, who I've talked about. But anyways, most of the press missed it, but the new head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, sent the California Clean Air waiver to Congress late Friday for the House to repeal. SEMA, which I go to every single year, published a press release in support of this move on Friday. President Trump campaigned on eliminating electric vehicle mandates and bringing down prices. Republicans in Congress now have an opportunity to do both by overturning California's powerful EV regime. Basically, it would end CARB. It would literally dry up all the money that they would get. It would bankrupt it. It'd be done. How? Now, a lot of people have asked me this same thing. Well, how can they do that? How can they just submit it and have it repealed? Well, let's look at it. Under the Congressional Review Act, I talked about this before, a simple majority of both chambers can overturn a regulation with a president's signature. That's right. I've seen so many comments. Oh, they got to have 60 votes in the Senate. Wrong. They changed that. You can thank Harry Reid from my great state here in Nevada for that. Once they did that nuclear option, that thing cuts both ways, buddies. And yeah, simple majority of both chambers, okay, can overturn a regulation with a president's signature. Passing a CRA resolution would be quicker than reversing the rule administratively. On February 15th, Lee Zeldin, chair of the Environmental Protection Agency, the administrator, sent California's Clean Air Act waiver, which is directly connected to the Advanced Clean Cars 2 regulation, to Congress for review. This is great news and has support from many groups, including the Specialty Equipment Market Association, aka SEMA, on behalf of its members from the automotive market and the nation's community of automotive enthusiasts. They urge federal lawmakers to swiftly strike down the waiver using their authority under the Congressional Review Act, you can contact your elected congressman to support the repeal of the California powers. I've said this before. Oh, and this is the other thing I've heard, right? Oh, TK, when the next person comes in, they're just going to re-put it back in. Wrong. Wrong. They can't. In fact, the CRA states that if this is passed, the EPA and federal government cannot reattempt to approve this rule. Let me say that again. The CRA states that if this is passed, the EPA and the federal government cannot reattempt to approve this rule. The process allows the vote to come to the floor in an expedited fashion, forcing all members to go on the record with their votes. If Congress votes to undo a rule, the agency cannot propose a similar regulation. It would require an act of Congress to override the CRA. Dang. The EPA has reviewed the policy, and due to its broad applicability to the nation's economy and individual freedoms, the Clean Air Act lets the Environmental Protection Agency grant such a waiver only to meet compelling and extraordinary conditions. The waiver authority was intended to help California reduce pollutants that contribute to smog. But since they've been granted more power from the Obama and the Biden administrations, this is the perfect example of giving an agency too much power. CO2, for you other geniuses that are like, science, TK, science. Well, here's some science for you. CO2 doesn't directly cause smog. In fact, it causes more trees. Plants love CO2. And California doesn't have any significant need to regulate vehicle greenhouse gas emissions than any other state. Let me read that again. California doesn't have any significant need to regulate vehicle greenhouse gas emissions than any other state. What that means is, when they smack this down from California, that means Washington State can't do it. Oregon, not happening. Massachusetts, kiss my ass, not happening. So, regardless, the Biden EPA approved the state's ban on new internal combustion engines by 2035 and progressive zero-emission vehicle quotas for automakers. During the November election, voters resoundingly rejected candidates who supported electric vehicle mandates, only to see their voice suppressed in the final days of the Biden administration when a waiver was granted to California to prop up its radical Advanced Clean Cars 1 policy. Congress has the opportunity to make right by the American people, said Mike Spagnolia, president and CEO of SEMA. SEMA calls on lawmakers from both sides of the aisle to use their Congressional Review Act authority to stand up for American ingenuity and innovation for the power of the free market. Bang. I'm excited. There's also some other people that were supporting the bill, like obviously the petroleum industry is going to love that. Gas, diesel industry, yay. But today's the day. Today we can find out if they're going to put this CRA in the big, beautiful bill that gets voted on and basically strips California's authority to do this. And it's not something like, oh, they stripped it, so it's going to take time. No. It's like this. It's that quick. It's literally, can't do this anymore. Good luck with that. And then we wait on the DOJ to start going after states that decide that they're going to try to, violate federal law and do their own things with state reps and BS smog checks and all this other crap. Because I've said it multiple times, and you guys in the comments, the tree huggers are like, oh, the states can do whatever they want. TK, federal supremacy. Yes, they can within a certain right, depending on what the federal government deems that they have dominion over. Federal supremacy. States sign on to that when they become a state. They agree. They ratify. They agree to abide by that Constitution. Federal supremacy. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It is the day. Today is the day that CARB gets its nuts cut. I'm all about it. Today is also the day that we get back to some freaking common sense when it comes to emissions with cars. Finally. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.